The courthouse letter trembled in my hands, its crisp edges slicing into my palms as I read the words again. Restraining order. My name Ethan Carver, typed in cold black ink, accused of harassment by the woman I'd loved for 3 years. Sarah. Her name burned in my throat like whiskey I couldn't swallow. The paper smelled faintly of bureaucracy, of sterile offices and lives unraveling in silence. I stood in my dim apartment, the late afternoon sun bleeding through the blinds, casting bars of shadow across the hardwood. My chest ached, not just from betrayal but from the gut-punch realization. She wanted me gone, erased, as if I'd never existed. But I had questions. Too many. And the answers were buried in the life we'd built together. In the moments I'd missed, in the cracks I'd ignored. The first warning had come months ago, subtle as a whisper in a storm. Sarah's phone buzzed at 2 a.m., lighting up our bedroom with its cold glow. She'd snatched it from the nightstand, her fingers moving too fast, her voice too soft as she mumbled, "Work emergency." I'd lain there, eyes half open, watching her silhouette slip into the hallway. The air felt heavy, laced with something unspoken. I told myself it was nothing. Her marketing job was demanding, her boss a tyrant. Love makes you blind, doesn't it? You see what you want, not what's there. Days later, I found a receipt in her coat pocket. Dinner for 2 at La Rosetta, a place we'd never been together. $50 for wine, $100 for entrees. My stomach twisted as I held the crumpled paper, her perfume lingering on it like a taunt. When I asked her about it, her laugh was sharp, cutting. "Client dinner, Ethan. You know how it is." Her green eyes held mine, steady, daring me to push. I didn't. I folded the receipt in my doubts, tucking them away like a bad dream. But the dreams kept coming. Her late nights multiplied, her excuses polished to a sheen. "The campaign's a nightmare," she'd say, tossing her auburn hair, her smile a little too bright. I'd nod, swallowing the unease, because love isn't just blind. It's desperate. I wanted to believe her. I wanted us to be what we'd been. Lazy Sundays tangled in sheets, her laughter filling the kitchen as we burned pancakes, her hand in mine like it belonged there forever. The restraining order shattered that illusion. Filed 2 days ago, it claimed I'd been stalking her, threatening her. Lies every word. I hadn't seen her in a week, not since she'd moved out, citing space and time to think. I'd called her once, left a voicemail, soft, pleading, not threatening. "Sarah, please just talk to me." That was it. Now this legal dagger in my hands accused me of something darker, something I didn't recognize. I sank onto the couch, the leather creaking under my weight. The apartment felt hollow without her. Her books gone from the shelves, her coffee mug missing from the sink. But her scent lingered, a ghost of jasmine and betrayal. I needed answers, not just for the order but for the truth I'd been dodging. Who was she protecting? Herself? Someone else? I obeyed the restraining order to the letter. No calls, no texts, no stepping within 100 yards of her. But I wasn't helpless. I opened my laptop, my fingers hesitating over the keys. Social media was a minefield, but it was also a window. Her ex profile was public. A cascade of curated smiles and cryptic posts. A photo from last weekend. Her at a rooftop bar, city lights glittering behind her, her arm around a man I didn't know. His face was half-turned, but his hand rested on her waist, possessive, intimate. The caption, "Living my truth." My pulse roared in my ears, a drumbeat of rage and heartbreak. I scrolled further, piecing together fragments. A tagged location at a hotel downtown. A vague post about new beginnings. Each clue was a shard of glass in my chest, sharp and undeniable. But I needed more than hints. I needed proof. I drove to the edge of the restraining order's boundary, parking outside a cafe across from her office. The autumn air was crisp, biting at my knuckles as I gripped a takeaway coffee, its heat seeping through the cup. From here I could see her building's glass facade, reflecting the gray sky like a mirror. I wasn't breaking the law, just watching, waiting. She emerged at 6, her coat pulled tight against the wind, her hair catching the last of the daylight. A man was with her, the same one from the photo. Tall, broad-shouldered, his laugh carrying across the street as he touched her arm. My coffee went cold in my hands. They walked to a black sedan, his hand on her lower back, guiding her like she was his. I followed at a distance, my car blending into rush hour traffic. The restraining order didn't say I couldn't drive public roads. They stopped at a bar, one of those upscale places with dim lights and overpriced cocktails. I parked a block away, my heart hammering as I watched them through the window. Sarah leaned into him, her smile unguarded, the way it used to be with me. I could have stormed in, demanded answers, but that's what she wanted. Proof I was the monster she'd painted me to be. Instead, I waited, my breath fogging the windshield. Hours later, they left, her laughter slicing through the night. They drove to a hotel, the same one from her posts. I didn't follow inside. I didn't need to. The truth was a blade, and it had already cut me open. Back home, I sat in the dark, the restraining order on the table like a confession. She'd filed it not because I was dangerous but because she needed me gone, out of her new life. The man, her boss, I later learned from a coworker's careless ex-post, was married, wealthy, powerful. Sarah wasn't just cheating. She was rewriting her future, and I was the inconvenient past. I could have fought the order, dragged her lies into court, but that would have given her the chaos she expected. Instead, I chose silence. I obeyed her rules, stayed away, let her think she'd won. But I wasn't done. I contacted her sister, Emma, who'd always liked me. Over coffee, her eyes red from crying, she spilled everything. Sarah's affair had started a year ago, her boss promising promotions, a life of luxury. The restraining order was his idea, a way to keep me at bay while they planned their escape, abroad maybe once his divorce was final. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I thanked Emma and went home. Then, I mailed a single letter to Sarah's boss's wife, a woman I found through public records. Inside was a USB drive with screenshots, timestamps, hotel receipts I'd gathered from public posts and discreet inquiries. No note, no explanation. Just the truth, cold and undeniable. Days later, Sarah called, her voice shaking through the voicemail. "Ethan, what did you do?" "Why?" I didn't answer. The restraining order forbade it. But I heard the fallout on X. Her boss's marriage imploding, Sarah's job gone, her carefully built facade crumbling. I sat on my balcony, the city sprawling below, a cigarette burning between my fingers. I hadn't broken her rules, not once. But I destroyed her plan, not with anger but with precision, with the truth she thought she could bury. The night air tasted bitter like ash and regret, but for the first time in months I felt free.